Good evening. I call to order East Brunswick Township Council Agenda Action Meeting for April 8, 2019. Please everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Here.
Councilman Spadafino.
Here.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Council President Stanley.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 PL 1975, specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the municipal bulletin board located in the main lobby, providing a copy of the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the township clerk in accordance with the certification which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have a proclamation read for Sikh Awareness Month. Councilman Wendell will be coming up to read it. Anyone from the public wishing to come up can come up at this moment.
Everyone can come up and join me if you like.
Kids should even stand in the front.
This way everybody gets on camera. You can,
Let the kids even stand in the front.
you can stand in the front if you want. Just
Yeah, let
wherever
him
you
stand
want.
with a picture in the front.
There you go. All right. We have tonight a proclamation from the Office of the Mayor for Sikh Awareness Month, April 2019. Whereas all Sikhs have been living in the United States for more than 100 years, and during the early 20th century, thousands of Sikh Americans worked on farms, in lumber mills, and mines, and the Oregon Pacific and Eastern Railroad. Whereas Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world today, and there are more than 30 million Sikhs worldwide and estimated 500,000 Sikh Americans. And where Vaishakhi is one of the most historically significant days of the year for Sikhs and is celebrated on April 14th, 2019. Whereas 2019 is the 550th birthday of the first 10 gurus and founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak. This day is celebrated for Sikhs in the Township of East Brunswick and worldwide, as Guru Nanak's Gurpurab is one of the most important dates in the Sikh calendar. Whereas Sikh Americans pursue diverse professions and make rich contributions to the social, cultural, and economic vibrancy of the United States, including service as members of the United States Armed Forces and significant contributions to our great nation in agriculture, information technology, small businesses, the hotel industry, trucking, medicine, and technology. And whereas Sikh Americans distinguish themselves by fostering respect among all people through faith and service, whereas the Township of East Brunswick is committed to educating citizens about the world's religion, the value of religious diversity, tolerance grounded in First Amendment principles, a culture of mutual understanding, and the diminution of violence. Whereas today, the Township of East Brunswick seeks to further the diversity of its community and afford all residents the opportunity to better understand, recognize, and appreciate the rich history and shared experiences of Sikh Americans. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, does hereby proclaim the month of April 2019 to be Sikh Awareness Month, given under his hand and the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick this 8th day of April in the year 2019. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rupri Davisani Gill. I live at 22 Waylands Road. I believe this is the first time a proclamation has been made for Sikh awareness and recognition in East Brunswick. I thank you, Mayor Cohen, and council members. Thank you so much. April was chosen as Sikh Awareness Month because it's one of the holiest months in the Sikh faith. Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world. There are more than 30 million Sikhs worldwide, an estimated 500 Sikh Americans. Sikhs believe that human beings have the potential to realize God through devotion, truthful living, and service to humanity. The core Sikh principles are: work hard and honestly, share your earnings with the less fortunate, remember God in everything you do. So, the Sikh religion does not have a clergy. Each individual is personally capable of experiencing the Creator. A Gurdwara is the Sikh place of learning and worship where the Guru Granth Sahib Ji is installed. Visitors of any background are welcome to visit and seek shelter and have free food. We have a free kitchen open to all. This picture that my son Kerman Singh is holding is of Golden Temple in Amritsar. Every day, 200,000 rotis, that's the Indian flatbread, 1.5 tons of dal, that's the lentil soup, and free food is served to 100,000 people every day. It's the largest free community kitchen. That's just in India, but that's just one place. There are many, many gurdwaras all over in India. There are many gurdwaras in here in America as well. We have the closest gurdwara from here is in Carteret. There's one in Bridgewater. There's one in Trenton. Not Trenton. There's one in Lawrenceville. There are multiple ways how Sikh Americans are participating to the greater good of the society. My family and I volunteer to serve at the soup kitchens, serving free meals to the needy people. We serve at Trenton train station, Luther Arms, from the Lawrenceville Gurdwara, my community, and we all go there. We serve at Eva's Village in Patterson, and many more places. I can tell you something how people recognize us. Mostly for the men, you would see the turbans, and for the little boys, that's called the patka. Come in careful. For women, it's the long hair. So for me, whenever I'm in the checkout line at a grocery store or a store, any store, people would see and they say, "Oh wow, you've got great hair." I'm like, "Thank you." Now I take the opportunity to explain them about my religion. This is my uncut long hair. That's been my hair from birth. They get amazed looking at, wow. It's not really great on the bottom if you're a hairdresser because you'll see it's all split ends. But that's my baby hair. I didn't cut it at all. Most of the men and women have the same thing. My son here has long hair till below his waistline. It's all tied up right here in the bun. Same for him, everybody. The men have it same too. They have it behind on their turbans. The turban is the Sikh crown. That's what we call. It's the crown for a man. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, please. We have a small poster that's going to be going around, and you can all see whatever I said is also in here too.
Thank you. This is for you.
Kerman also has. Kerman, you want to say something? My son also has a small speech that he would like to say.
Oh. He could sit over there, too.
Right here? Oh, okay.
Is that right?
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. My name is Kerman Singh. Thank you for making this proclamation to create awareness about Sikh. People usually compliment me and say, "What a nice hat." And then I have to explain, it's not a hat, it's a batka on top of my hair. I have long hair that I don't cut because it's in my religion not to cut hair. Hope by the time I grow up, everyone will know who Sikhs are. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem, no problem. You said you wanted to take a picture? You
Yes,
can
please.
come back. And also at this time, I would like to recognize our own East Brunswick resident, Mrs. Ronnie Goomer, who's also a member of the Middlesex County Planning Board. Thank you for coming also today.
I have a meeting tomorrow. You want us to stand up? Where do you want us to go? You think maybe you can't get a watch, we will move over?
Let's have all the council people come up, too. You guys just in front.
Just make sure they're all unlocked.
I'm trying to get out of everyone's way. Ooh, I get to look at the picture? Why am I in the front?
Carmen, you have to look at the picture. That's okay, it's fine.
Why is she holding it?
That's fine. Look in front. Look in front.
Can we squeeze in a little bit more? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I got 2 more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Last one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. You did wonderful. When I have to speak, you gotta come speak for me now, okay?
Good job, buddy.
Great job, pal. Nice.
I didn't need to stand in front. I was trying to get, so I was getting back with the.
Put this on the card, and we need the member of the alliance to sign that.
To this thing, there's some left. Moving on with our council meeting, we have a presentation tonight by our mayor, Mayor Brad Cohen, for the presentation of the 2019 budget.
Good evening, everybody. I know I'm kind of facing the council right now. The message is for everybody in town, so I feel awkward having my back to you. But so much that we could do with the camera and everything right now. With that being said, though, Council President, members of our municipal council, administration, public who's here today, and those that are viewing at home, the 2019 proposed budget is 3.3% below the township's revenue property tax levy cap, which translates to the fact that it's below what we are legally allowed to charge without going out to public vote. As most of you know, calculating taxes is really a function of revenues and expenses. So we're going to talk first about our revenues. In 2019, our miscellaneous revenues increased by about $548,000, and that is exclusive of shared services revenue of about $350,000. This year, we will anticipate increased revenues from the following areas. In the area of redevelopment, we're expecting another $550,000. There will be about $250,000 that comes from an increase in interest income. As most of you know, interest rates have gone up, so has the cost of borrowing money. And there's going to be about $175,000 that comes into the township from cable franchise fees. These increases are offset, however, by a reduction in anticipated revenue from parks and recreation camp fees of about $230,000 and reduced municipal court revenue of about $100,000. Our New Jersey state aid is flat once again at about $4.1 million, as well as the MCUA host community benefits that we get from the landfill by Edgeboro Road, which amounts to $3.1 million. This year, we had some significant increases in appropriations, significant increases. There was a 13.3% increase in our pension costs amounting to about $526,000. Keep in mind our bill for pension had already been $4 million. It's now going up another $500,000. Was an 8.8% increase in solid waste costs, amounting to $332,000 increase over last year. As I spoke earlier, and actually at the beginning of the year when I spoke, our contract for solid waste was affected significantly. We went out for an RFP. We had a grand total of one person respond for that RFP, and we're also living in a day and age where there is no market any longer for recycling, which we used to get actually a refund back for recycling would help offset the cost of solid waste. That is no longer possible. China was the acceptor of the all of that and is no longer accepting any recyclables, and so now it's costing us money. And with only one person responding to the RFP, that's about $332,000 increase just to keep the service that we have right now. Our debt payments and interest increased by $1.156 million, which is why I wasn't so excited about the increase in revenue from interest, because that's now means that the cost of borrowing money has gone up, and banks don't lose money. Overall salaries within the cap increased 2.3% as the township settled agreements with the Municipal Employees Association and the Professional Managers Association. The township continues to negotiate with our PBA, and I'm happy to announce that we signed a memorandum of understanding today with the Superior Officers Association. That contract will need to get approval of its membership and our township council, and I'm completely encouraged that we will have as good news on the PBA front in the next week or so. I'm pleased to report that due to efficiencies in staffing, a well-run programs, and several retirements, we've been able to control many of the costs of local government. This was accomplished while providing a consistently high level of services. Our health insurance costs, which constitutes 15% of all of our appropriations, were flat this year. Our utility and energy costs were relatively flat as well. Our community is safe, our streets are clean, community and sports programs are plentiful and robust, the library is open, our recycling program continues to expand. And despite rising interest rates, we were able to sell notes at a lower interest rate than others and continue to avoid bonding at higher cost due to the town's exceptionally good credit rating. Our Moody's investment rating is AA1+, which is the second highest available rating in the United States. Many communities, as most of you know, in the state, across the country, have had their credit ratings lowered. We have not. All of this translates into the fact that the revenue needed for municipal taxes to balance our budget this year calls for an increase in taxes of 7.1 cents per $100. This is approximately $71 per home assessed at an average market value of $386,000 based on average assessed ratios. The recession of 2009 saw a dramatic reduction in property taxes, not only here but across the country, but the recovery was relatively slow here in East Brunswick and New Jersey as a whole. But I'm happy to say that at present, property values have actually recovered and East Brunswick remains a desirable community. I am unsure how the recent change in federal tax code, however, will affect East Brunswick property values. That we will need to see. Likewise, most economists predict that we are about 1 year away from a correction to the markets, which have seen about 10 years of growth. We are keenly aware of these facts, but for now, there are less than 100 tax appeals per year, a good indicator that our real estate market has stabilized. Real estate agents in East Brunswick tell me that it's a seller's market, as properties do not stay on the market very long here in East Brunswick. I'm excited about the future, as redevelopment plans are well underway. We have a well-run town with active and involved residents. My administration has stressed openness and transparency and has set our eyes on the future. Let me end by thanking everyone who works in this great township for their roles in making East Brunswick such a great community. This is especially poignant as we start this week of celebration and recognition of those who work in local government. These are the real heroes that make government work on the matters that affect our residents the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cohen. Moving on to the agenda session, seeing none. Moving on to the public hearing. Can I get a motion for the following ordinance 19-06, amending Chapter 228 zoning of the Township of East Brunswick, electric vehicle charging equipment / stations?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Councilman Wendell. Can I get a second? Second by Councilman Spadafino. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'm opening the public portion of this hearing to this ordinance and this ordinance only. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, I'm closing the public portion. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Can I get a motion for the following ordinance, 19-07, amending Chapter 209, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 68, Schedule 29, permit parking of the Code of the Township of East Brunswick?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Councilman Wendell. Can I get a second? Second by Councilwoman Sullivan. Any discussion? Seeing none, I shall open this to the public portion. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'm closing the public portion. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Moving on to our reports. Any reports from the mayor's office today?
Yes, thank you, Council President. A couple of things. First, I wanted to announce it's already actually been out on Facebook, on the Township website. We've been trying to put ads and brochures throughout the township, but I'm holding a bunch of town hall meetings throughout the township over the next 2 to 3 months. Most of it is really open for the public to ask questions on almost anything, but we're trying to concentrate on the redevelopment of the Route 18 corridor and some of our plans that have been discussed. I know many people read Facebook. A very poor way of getting your information. People concentrate on tiny little topics and that ends up just getting blown out of proportion. So for those people who are actually interested in listening to what the plans are in its entirety, for individuals who then have questions about topics even outside of redevelopment, that's really the purpose. The goal, like I had mentioned in my statement from the beginning, is that government needs to be transparent. We need to have a dialogue. Everybody needs to be involved. And so this is really the purpose of town hall meetings, so that we could disperse information and have a dialogue, as opposed to social media, which, like I said, is a terrible way of getting information. I also wanted to highlight the fact that we have Local Government Week this week, and we have a bunch of programs that are going on throughout the township to highlight that. Some of it started already. Yesterday we had a walk with the doc, led by Dr. Michael Spadafino, our councilman. We had a beautification day program where we gave out plants and for individuals, a lot of information about what they could do to help beautify their homes. Tonight we had the Municipal Art Gallery is exhibiting artwork from people who work in the township, so anybody is welcome to come to the municipal conference room where you could see work done by individuals that work in town. Traditionally, we have used that area to highlight local artists, individuals in town who have a passion for the arts, and we want them to have an opportunity to have that displayed. But this time, we're actually concentrating on artwork from individuals who work here in the township. Tomorrow, court is in session at 5 o'clock. Councilwoman Sharon Sullivan is going to be having office hours here in the building from 5 to 7 p.m. And then the town hall that I spoke about that I'm going to be doing is going to be at the East Brunswick High School auditorium at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, the library will be giving tours at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30, tours of the library and tours of East Brunswick Television Studio. And the senior center will be having a tours and craft show from 4 to 6. From 6 to 8, the municipal building will have an open house. We meet the police, voter registration, a lot of, again, opportunity to see the art gallery, information on the Shop East Brunswick program, and an opportunity to talk to many people who work here in the township. Across the way at the senior center from 7 to 9 will be an open house for our planning and engineering department. So anybody who is thinking about doing any work in their house, wants information on the entire process, our professionals will be there to help them and answer any questions. And then finally on Thursday, we will be having a meeting at the Community Arts Center on all of the commissions, boards, and coalitions working here in town. So they have an opportunity to see who they are that are on all these committees, if there's open positions, although proud to say that most of our positions are filled, which is a testament to the interest on everybody's part here in the town, but learning about what those commissions and boards are about and how they actually help enhance the township was all really part of what this week is about. And before I move on to the next topic, I want to give a shout out to our Economic Development Officer, Amy Denholtz-Lewandowski, who brought this idea to me and actually put together this incredibly robust program for in very short order. So I want to thank her for her efforts on that part. I mentioned also in my budget presentation that we did sign a memorandum of understanding with the Superior Officers Association. That's a contract that's long overdue that needed to get done, and we're really proud that we are well on our way to doing that. And so that just leaves the PBA, and I'm completely confident that's set up for next week, and I believe that by the next council meeting we should have good news on both fronts, that we have finally gotten all of our bargaining units settled and we could actually move on. Also wanted to announce that there's going to be tryouts on the April 15th, 16th, and then recalls back for final on the 17th for Footloose. Footloose is a musical that the township's going to be putting on as part of our summer stage under the STARS program, which modeled after more or less the program that's out in Edison and this is a pilot for a Broadway show. We're starting with Footloose. We're hoping that as many people as possible show up. The scheduled event is going to be July 25th to 27th and August 1st through 3rd, which is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so we're hoping that we can get as many people to come out and prove that we have the ability to do a plays in the park type format right here in East Brunswick. And finally, I promised to end, I wanted to say happy Easter and a happy Passover to all those who are celebrating, because I believe that our next council meeting is after that. So I'm sure you've heard enough of me. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cohen. The town administrator?
Yeah, the only item I was going to go over, and I hope I'm not stealing the thunder from our friends in the PBA that are in the audience this evening, but I thought it was important to announce that the PBA Easter egg hunt is on April 20th at Warnsdorfer Elementary School at 12 noon. So that's a fantastic event, and we hope all the children come out to that event, and they have an excellent opportunity to meet some of our fine police officers and interact in the community. So I'd like to thank the PBA for putting on that event. That's all.
Thank you. From our Director of Law?
No report.
From our Clerk's Office?
No, nothing, thank you.
Anyone from the council wishing to speak regarding committee board?
Yes. Just like to update the rest of council. You know, as we are aware, there's an ordinance tonight on, it's ordinance 19-03, which is now going to be 19-08. It's, as we spoke, it's the same ordinance as before. It's the only difference in this ordinance is we're expanding the properties included in that bond ordinance to give us the ability to work on both areas 2A and 3A. And as recently, you know, at the last meeting, as stated, we've designated a developer. This gives us the ability to start negotiating with property owners. We will not be using this money without coming to this council first to let everyone know what the status is going to be and how we're moving forward on things. But this, at least having the ability to gain the money, gives us the ability to start negotiating with property owners. So, yes. Yeah, I mean, it is, what we're adding is, we were previously only what we would call the Wiz or the Gap Mall and the areas in 3A. Now we're adding the areas in Section 2A, which is the Loman's Plaza and the related properties around that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the public portion. Anyone from the public wishing to speak may come up. Please state your name and address and limit your comments to 5 minutes, and please address all comments to the chair. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Sir?
Good evening. My name is Dave Seiden, and I live on Stockton Court here in East Brunswick. I came here tonight to address the Route 18 corridor redevelopment plans. First, and very important, I really want to thank the mayor for the town hall that has already occurred, which I was at, as well as the streaming video, both of which were extremely informative, I thought. And I very much urge other residents to attend forthcoming town halls, because I think you'll find them not only interesting but informative. At this point, I don't have an opinion on the total project that's being envisioned, largely because the total project is not formed enough to have an opinion about it, and I don't like having opinions about things that I don't know very much about. So I will hold off on that. But there are some opinions I do have. First, I think that the option of doing nothing with regard to Route 18 redevelopment is a non-starter. That really is not a viable option. Doing nothing will simply lead to the continuing cycle of degradation to Route 18, and that's to the detriment of the town and all of us who live here. So I very much admire the efforts, the bold and big thinking that's gone into this, and the planning that's gone into it up to this point. And I await further developments of that plan. One element of the plan that I also have an opinion on that has been discussed is, I think that moving municipal services and moving municipal facilities to some segment of that redevelopment area makes good sense. I think doing so will make those projects more viable, more economically feasible, and having the traffic, the foot traffic of people using those services, I think is going to be an important component of the overall plan. However, I don't think that it's a good idea to think of the municipal complex and municipal facilities all in one basket. I think there are significant differences. I see at least two major baskets. One is the municipal offices, the police, and the court. And the other is the senior center and the library. And I think there is a really important difference between those two categories. The use of people coming to the municipal offices or coming to the court or coming to the police usually is not because they've optionally chosen to do so. They have business that they have to conduct, they have to go there, they've been called to go there, and they go. And they will go there regardless, really, of where they are located. And if having those offices as part of this redevelopment will improve the economic viability of the redevelopment, then fine, and I'm all for it. On the other hand, the senior center and the library are not mandatory. People are not required to go to either of those places ever. They go when they choose to. It's an option. And there are a lot of things that will contribute to the decision-making about going, one of which is ease of getting there, the convenience, the location. I think there are some real detriments in those areas to moving those two facilities from the area where they currently are out to the northern end of town, right alongside Route 18. For one thing, the central location of the library and senior center makes it a more attractive place for people to go to. It's easy to get there, no matter where in town you live. Nobody has to go all the way to the other end of town to get there. And so leaving them centrally located makes sense. Ease of access in terms of foot traffic, road traffic, bicycle traffic. This area where the current municipal complex is a far more attractive place to get to. You don't have to battle Route 18 traffic. It's safe for kids to ride their bikes here. None of that would be true if we moved the library facility there, and similarly for seniors to get there and require that they go to Route 18 or just off of Route 18 to get there would be a disincentive for the use of both of those facilities. Leaving these, since it's my understanding that the plan is that this area where we are right now, the municipal complex, will be repurposed to a residential development, maybe 55 and over, maybe not. But assuming that that's the case, having those facilities here makes this a much more attractive place for a developer to put up a residential complex. Just as it makes good sense to move some of the facilities to the redevelopment zone to make that a more attractive project, leaving the other two facilities, seniors and library, here makes this a more attractive project for a developer. Having the library, having the senior center close by will make it far easier to attract residences, particularly if it's a 55 and over area. And since it's my understanding that the sale of this land to that project will be a source of funding to fund the redevelopment and the movement of the municipal complex, we certainly have a vested interest in making this as financially viable portion of the project as the other, and keeping the senior center and library here will aid in that.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, one last point, if I might. Lastly, keeping the senior center and the library proximate to one another provides the opportunity for some very innovative, very creative, intergenerational programming that I think is sorely needed. We certainly have the people to do it, and keeping those two facilities close by will facilitate doing that. So as we move forward on this, I just urge all people who are involved in the planning of this not to put all of the municipal complex into one basket and think of it as we move it or we don't move it, but think about which parts make sense to move, which part makes sense to stay where they are.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening. My name is Mary Pan. I'm at 223 Milltown Road. I'm on the Board of Trustees for the East Brunswick Public Library. I'm here to speak to you tonight about National Library Week, which is April 7th through the 13th. It is an annual celebration highlighting the valuable role libraries and librarians play in strengthening our communities. The East Brunswick Public Library provides a public space where all community members, regardless of age, culture, or income level, can come together to connect and learn. The library also partners with other civic and service organizations to actively engage the people we serve, always striving to make sure our community's needs are being met. I'd like to share some highlights from our very own East Brunswick Public Library. In 2018, 624,471 items were checked out. 338,816 people visited the library. 42,761 digital items, including ebooks, e-audiobooks, magazines, were checked out. 33,836 people attended programs. 4,932 iPads and Chromebooks were borrowed. 2,280 new users registered for library cards. 1,128 museum passes were borrowed. 265 lendable kits were borrowed, such as ukuleles, GoPros, iPads, knitting kits. The library also offers free Wi-Fi. We have a maker space with sewing machines, a green screen, computers for video editing, a recording studio, and programs for kids, teens, and adults. We offer free and low-cost computer training classes. We also have 3 group study rooms that can be reserved for meetings, study sessions, and collaborative work. And the library is the 3rd busiest municipal library in the state. The library, as you can see, is a very popular institution in East Brunswick. I would not be surprised if the library is the most popular institution in our town. And in talking to residents, people don't want the library to change without an extremely good reason to do so. And people certainly don't want the library to change unless the library will be significantly better. This is a reflection of how successful our library is. I encourage you to celebrate National Library Week by visiting the library to see what's new. You can also go to ebpl.org to find out how you can borrow a museum pass or find out information on any of the library's programs and services. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that council wishes to separate?
I like to pull C.
C? Okay.
Council President,
Yes.
E,
E,
G, H.
G, H?
E, G, and H.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the following items A through B, D, F, I, J?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Wendell, second by Councilman Spadafino. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Can I get a motion for the following? Item 16579, recognizing New Jersey Local Government Week, April 7th to 13th, 2019, and encouraging all students to support the celebration and corresponding activities.
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Wendell, second by,
I would like to read it. Is that?
yeah, one second.
No, I don't know when. I'm sure.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Spadafino. Councilwoman Sullivan will be reading the resolution into the minutes.
Resolution recognizing New Jersey Local Government Week, April 7th through the 13th, and encouraging all citizens to support the celebration and corresponding activities. Whereas local government is the government closest to most citizens and the one with the most direct daily impact upon its residents, and whereas local government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for residents, making their municipality their home, and whereas local government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities, and whereas representative local government, whether elected, appointed, or employed, share the responsibility to serve the public and pass along the understanding of public services and their benefit, and whereas New Jersey Local Government Week offers an important opportunity for your municipal elected officials and staff to spread the word to all citizens of New Jersey, and they can get involved and shape and influence their local government. And whereas New Jersey League of Municipalities and its member municipalities have joined together to connect citizens with local government and engage them in learning about their municipal government through a variety of activities. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Township of East Brunswick, of the County of Middlesex, and the State of New Jersey, and this is to certify that this is a true and compared copy of a resolution adopted by the Municipal Council of Township of East Brunswick, April 8th, 2019.
Thank you. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Can I get a motion for the following item E, 16581, approving person-to-person transfer, Philip Todd LLC to GPL Grove LLC?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Wendell,
I second it.
second by Councilwoman Sullivan. Any discussion?
I'd like to just say something, if I may.
Sure.
I'd just like to congratulate Rich and Sheila Weber, who've owned this business for several years. I think they were great community participants. I know that anytime you ever went in there and asked them to donate to any business, I mean, any organization in town, any youth sports organization, anything, they were the first to step up and do it. They had a real good run with this place, and I think they're just getting tired of the day-to-day business, and I'd like to welcome these new guys to town. You'll be seeing a lot of me. That's kind of down the road from my house. So, I'll leave it at that. But I've known Brian and Dylan for a number of years. So, Dylan just realized I coached him in football probably 20 years ago. So, but I'm sure you guys are going to be the same. I know over at DuSal's you're doing a great job, and over at the saloon you're doing a great job. So we welcome you to town. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I was the one who, shall we say, pulled this, so Mr. Crisculo, did Councilman Wendell clarify anything that I needed to hear?
I just think it's a person-to-person transfer of a liquor license, been approved by the police department through their due diligence process. They certified the people that are valid to have a liquor license, and I trust that the police department did their due diligence in clearing this applicant for the purchase of this license from the Grove to the new establishment.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're quite welcome.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Belisano, please call the roll.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Good luck.
Good luck.
See you soon.
Don't change the popcorn. And bring the pizza from the saloon up, or Vitali's pizza.
Thank
They
you.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Moving on to item G, can I get a motion for the following? 16583, authorizing release of performance guarantee and all escrow for Clark Woods LLC.
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Wendell, second by Councilman Spadafino. Any discussion?
Once again, Mr. Crisculo, anytime I see dollars and cents flashing on resolutions, can we get clarification?
Sure,
for the
this is
committee?
an escrow account that was created by Clark Woods LLC probably in the year 2001. My research said this is Betsy Court, Lantern Lane, parts of Stagecoach Run, and I believe there's one other, Old Tenant Court, portions of that. So this developer came in and developed this community. They are now coming back and asking for their performance guarantee and their cash to be released, funds that weren't expended and their bond released. Mr. Kipp in our engineering department was able to negotiate with them to upgrade the pump station with 2 new pumps, and the applicant agreed. And there was some paving of Betsy Ross Court to the tune of $21,000 that the applicant agreed that they'd be willing for us to pay for out of that performance bond. So this is good for the people that live on that court. They'll get a freshly paved roadway, and we'll get an upgraded pump station with 2 new pumps. And the developer has agreed to this in advance. And we concur with releasing the remaining funds that this applicant has posted, like I said, back many, many years ago. And we'd like to clean up these accounts and not keep them hanging around for a long time. And I encourage you to adopt this resolution.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Belisano, please call the roll.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Can I get a motion for item H, 16584, authorizing release of performance guarantees for Summerhill Square LLC?
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilman Wendell, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Spadafino. Any discussion?
And for the last time, Mr. Criscuolo, clarification for the community on this
Certainly. Summerhill
situation.
Square Plaza Shopping Center, or whatever you might want to call it, came to the planning board back in 2008 and was approved at that particular time. Mr. Kipp and the engineering department and Mr. Losak, who runs the water and sewer division, are satisfied that this developer has met all of his obligations and completed the project as directed to by the planning board, and agree that their performance bond and cash bond be returned to them because they satisfactorily met the conditions of approval.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Moving on to ordinances requiring a public hearing date for April 22nd, 2019. Can I get a motion for the following ordinance 19-08, amending Section 3A of Bond Ordinance Number 19-03 of the Township of East Brunswick of the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, finally adopted February 11, 2019, in order to include additional properties?
Motion, make a motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Wendell, second by Councilman Spadafino. Any discussion?
Yes. As you said, Council President, this is a continuation of the February 11th, 2019 ordinance that this council passed, and that was authorizing $15 million to go to the redevelopment agency so that they could contract or eminent domain certain properties located in the redevelopment area. And now we are shifting the same language down to, I'm not going to read them all. Block 01, lots 01, 02, 1602, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With regard to all those numbers, how many pieces of property are we talking about?
I'm not exactly sure of the makeup of the amount of properties. It's the Loman's Plaza and every other property that was designated in Section 2A, which would be that small office building, the Old City Federal Bank, the Sweeney's, and
So
the
anything in
Toys R Us
2A.
property. Anything in 2A.
Anything in 2A.
Anything in 2A that we don't already have under contract.
Anything in 2A. So this is taking the ability to take the property in 3A and now not shift the money, but have the money available to negotiate or take the property from via eminent domain. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
No.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 19-09, approving a deed of easement between the Township of East Brunswick and Amon Garris for the access easement along a portion of Block 66, lots 1 and 2. Can I get a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Wendell, second
Second.
by Councilwoman Sullivan. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilman Spadafino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Moving on to new business. Approval of council agenda action meeting minutes, March 25th, 2019. Can I get a motion?
Motion approved, I'm sorry.
Motion by Councilman Wendell. Can I get a
Second.
Second by Councilman McAvoy. Ms. Belisano, can you please call the roll?
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Council President Stanley.
Yes. Moving on to the good of the cause. Does anyone on DS have anything for the good of the cause?
Yes, I do, sir. I just wanted to make the residents aware, most of you that live over near Hardenburg, Riva, and Church Lane realize that PSE&G is updating the utility lines that are actually running from North Jersey all the way down to Burlington County. Next week, they will be stringing the wires that will connect these. PSE&G would like to expedite this project and thereby doing it the week when the children are off from school as well. They will be using a helicopter to string the wire. They have filed with the FAA a flight plan. The flight plan has been approved by the FAA. They've met with the Township Engineering Department, Office of Emergency Management, and Police Department, and we concur with their traffic plan. Officers will be stationed. One officer will be at Hardenburg, one will be at Riva, one will be at Church. There will be only shutting down the road when the helicopter is actually flying over the roadway. And the purpose of doing this with a helicopter is they're able to do it in a quick and expedited fashion. I will be posting on the Township's Facebook page and on EBTV and other means the whole concept and actually a picture of the helicopter that they will be using with the numbers and everything posted on it, so residents can be aware that that is occurring. All these items, or when it will be done, is weather dependent. So it's scheduled now over the particular week, but the goal is potentially to do it over 1 to 2 days. If they have ideal conditions, they'll be in and out very quickly. If they don't, it will take longer. But I just wanted to make you and the public aware that they will be doing this. Those of you that live over in that section of town should only experience very short time frames where they won't be able to pass, and that's when the helicopter is actually running the wire. There is 4 strands that will have to be pulled the entire section, the different heights on the tower. So I've seen this done before, and if you live over on that side of town and you can go in your backyard and see them doing this, it's kind of a neat thing to see. So I just wanted to make the council and the public aware that this will be going on, and all the proper authorities, including the FAA, our police department, emergency management, and engineering department, concur with them to get this project completed. This new power grid will also add a lot more reliability to our residents as well, and we've been cooperating with PSE&G to get this job and project completed. That's all I have, Council President.
And this is being done during the spring break,
Yes,
so the school buses won't be affected.
right.
So what happens if there's a weather issue and it goes towards school time, not during the
Well,
school buses, right?
we hope we don't have to cross that bridge. We'll
Okay.
take another look. I think having a whole week, we should be able to get a couple of good days in there. We'll just hope for good weather. Because the kids are off, they deserve some good weather.
Definitely. Anyone else on council? Councilwoman Sullivan?
McFoods and the police department have teamed up together to Feed the Hungry, and they have 2 bins in the police department themselves that you could contribute, non-perishable, non-glass items, and also any hygiene items would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Wendell. Can I get a second? Second by Councilman Spadafino. Everyone say aye? Aye. Aye. Have a good night.